Welcome to the Dental Implant Practices podcast, where each episode will explore how to integrate dental implants into your practice and into bone, with your host, Dr. Philip Gordon.
Hey guys, this is Philip Gordon. I'm the host of the Dental Implant Practices podcast, and I'd like to invite you to a special event we're having. I will be hosting a free dental implant seminar, and the seminar will be September 14th and September 15th this year of 2018. It's going to be at Newport Beach, California, and the seminar is going to be called Dental Implant MBA. Come join me to learn all about how to get your Master's of Business in Implantology, learn everything there is to know about the business of implant dentistry, everything from marketing to consults to how to sign up big cases, how to get started with dental implants, everything from A to Z. I think we're going to have a great time. Friday, we're going to take a tour of two implant facilities, the Glidewell Hahn Implant Manufacturing Facility and the BioHorizons Implant Facility, their West Coast operation. We're going to have a lecture Saturday, September 15th, all day. We're going to have lots of guest lectures. We're going to have some big names come in. I can't tell you quite yet, but we're going to announce that soon. I'm going to be telling you all the secrets that I have to get all the implant cases, treat them successfully, and grow your practice, double, triple, quadruple your production, and how to kind of bulletproof your practice from recessions and DSOs and all those other things bombarding us every day. So come join me in Newport Beach this September 14th and 15th. You can register for the event on the Eventbrite website. Look for Dental Implant MBA Conference, or go to my new website, dentalimplantpractices.com. We have renovated our website to add some of the things that we're doing there. Or you can find the link on our Facebook group, Dental Implant Practices group on Facebook. Hope to see you there. Bye.
Well, welcome back to another episode of the Dental Implant Practices podcast. I'm your host, Philip Gordon, and today it's a huge honor for me to introduce Dr. Kianor Shah from Palm Desert, California. Kianor, thanks for being on the show today.
Hey, thanks, Dr. Gordon, for having me.
Yeah, it's a great honor to have you on because you and I have some things going on moving forward together that we're working with. We share a similar passion, which is implant dentistry, and we've got a lot of exciting things in the future that we're going to collaborate on. So I thought we'd start off with just kind of getting to know you a little bit more and your background. So why don't you kind of bring my listeners up to speed on, where you went to dental school, how you kind of got into dentistry, how you got into private practice, and some of your achievements afterwards with your implantology, specialty training, and various sorts of things that you've kind of got up to private practice with at this point.
Sounds great. I've finished dental school in Illinois, Southern Illinois University School of Dental Medicine. And then I was in private practice starting in 2006, and I believe it was Camlog that came around and offered us a weekend course in implantology, and I thought I'd go up there. So we went up there, and I sat to the program and fell in love with the concept, and ever since I've built a career around it. After Illinois, I went into a different kind of situation where I was traveling and providing surgical services, mainly wisdom teeth and root canals, complex root canals, to our colleagues as a traveling dentist for several years, and kind of noticed the challenges they face, and shook a lot of hands with a lot of our colleagues, and was doing that till late last year, where I set up an implant practice in Palm Desert, California, where I'm just now focusing on full arch type restorations, and it's starting to be quite successful in that regard.
That's probably pretty similar to some people. Maybe they took a weekend course with implant dentistry, found out that maybe that's where their passion lied, and then you have to figure out, okay, how can I get from doing this every now and then to doing this all the time? And sounds like you found a great way to do that. It's
been a challenge, Dr. Gordon. For many years, I've been traveling from Los Angeles to California to Florida to across the country to try to look into these programs and up the continuing education to find the comfort and the competency to do these procedures. And he thought there might be a better way for our colleagues that come in, even general dentists that have the slightest interest in extractions and surgery. I would think they would be interested in upping their game in this golden age of dental implants.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, how did you advance your education with implantology? I know you've done some training outside of just after your original education. Where did you get a lot of your implant training from?
I went to the California Implant Institute and did that 1-year fellowship. And at the same time, I was doing lots of, I took some MISH stuff and I did some ICOI stuff. And suddenly it crumbled to a situation where I was more at implant seminars and courses than any other discipline in dentistry. And it is sort of it's like raising a child. It starts with the simplest of tasks, and then you flourish that into something very, very valuable in time. But it takes time, and the most important thing is having the desire and passion and courage to take the next step and taking one of these fellowships or programs to see if that is something for you. But for us, it worked very good. I used to do a lot of denture adjustments and fillings, and I didn't want to do that for the rest of my life. I wanted to do something where I could help a lot of people, and at the same time work less, work smarter, and up my skills. So this was my calling.
Absolutely, I think it's great. I can relate with that. It's in the process I'm coming of. Advancing my surgical skills and advancing my business to where it's implant focused. And you kind of have to ratchet one of those at a time, work on the business a little, work on your skills, work on the business, work on your skills. And at the same time, continuing to take leaps of faith with your development and your training. So it's a great subset of the profession. I love it. I know you love it. And it's an exciting time that we're in. So, with that, you have been doing a lot of projects. You've got a lot of things in the works right now. The big project that you are working on right now is the Global Implantology Summit. So why don't you talk with me a little bit about that? I know that's something you've been working on for, a couple years now, getting ready to organize for this fall's meeting.
Yes, we've been working on this for about 18 months now, and the idea came about from the very same notion that I discussed with you a few minutes ago, was there's such a great demand. There's not enough specialists in the world that can attend to all of these patients. I'm just going to throw some numbers out there for you that might be of interest. 500 million plus missing teeth in the United States, and we're replacing 1 to 2 million implants. 120 million. That's more than a third of the population in the U.S. that's running around with 1 or more missing teeth. So, and then I looked at the cause of it. Why are we not doing more implants? There's such a huge demand, and if you know anything about business, demand drives business. And I realized that there's specialists and dentists considering legal concerns and all of this. And but the demand, the desire is there, because implants, as you know, can be so simple. If you have an extracted tooth that you have done in a nice fashion, and you have a natural guide right there for you in the socket, I never understood why dentists didn't want to just put it in there. So then I realized all the challenges. Okay, where do I start? Half the people I spoke to, they don't know where to start. I mean, this is for the oral surgeon, this is for the implantologist, this is for the periodontist. So that was the first problem. The second problem was, even if they knew where to start, they wouldn't get the whole picture, because you have to kind of take in the lessons and lectures and all the things that we have discovered in the last 40 years from the experts in the industry. And then I looked at all these programs, and all of these associations create sort of an environment where they are only offering you their version of what's true and what is applicable in the clinical environment. And I realized we needed to make something that was not membership-based, that would allow anybody to attend, that wouldn't make you feel as if you're not part of the club. So in order to achieve that, we had to create something that included everything from A to Z, starting from the anatomy, going through extraction techniques, medical emergencies, pharmacology, the perio perspective, endo perspective, ortho perspective, and all that had to be brought together in order to achieve an environment that both specialists would want to come to, and also our younger colleagues that want to crack into the business that might become very lucrative for them and result in helping a lot of people, taking care of their student loans and having a little bit of an easier life. So all of that sort of crumbled together, and we thought that we should invite the best of the best, the experts from some 40 countries to come, these people that have written some of the books we went to school with, to have different perspectives. So not everybody is getting the same, the same cocktail and that's it. You're going to have a variety of opinions and thought processes about this. In a restorative and a surgical tract, if you're still shy about placing them, maybe you should only attend the restorative track or go to the surgical track to learn more. So there's a lot of opportunity that we wanted to create with this event to maximize information exchange, irrelevant of what society you are with, irrelevant of any barriers that might be out there for you. So a very big idea came up, and 9 implantologists, vast majority actually specialists, joined together to with myself to select the speakers and essentially ratify them and put the program together. And here we are today, 2 months out, and we're hoping that we can give a toolbox to our colleagues that are starting fresh, and also promote interdisciplinary approach between the specialists, because what the endodontist knows might not be the same thing that we know versus the ortho guy and so forth. And oral surgery persons and all those that apply in this particular discipline. So yes, here we are, and we have implemented many workshops. There's so much going on, Dr. Gordon, between PRF and digital smile designs and all the different implant systems and designs. And did you know that there are over 1,200 implant systems right now on the market? I mean, how should a clinician know which one is good and which one is not? I mean, these things have to be presented. So instead of doing what you and I had to do for over a decade to get where we are, we can facilitate that for our colleagues by them going to your dental MBA seminar and getting all of these topics, and then coming to our event and then learning about Dr. Gans's or Dr. Lee's or Dr. Garg's or any of these individuals that have their own institutions about what they are saying, and then make a decision for themselves as to who they want to go with and expanding their knowledge and armamentarium for this discipline.
Yeah, I think that's fantastic. Those are some of the same things that that I saw in the field. I thought, I've been trying to piecemeal things together from every department for 10 years, trying to learn how to do this. I wish somebody had it put all together and could put everybody in the same area and teach the truth about all these different topics. And part of that's why I started the podcast. It's kind of the poor man's lecture, But I'm glad to see that this event's taking place, because it's going to pull all the brilliant minds in implantology into one group and say, hey, there's a lot of things going on out there. Let's learn what everybody's doing, put it all together, and then everybody can take it home and process it and put it in their own program and figure out how it's going to work for them. And yeah, hopefully this is a one-of-a-kind deal that just blows the roof off and keeps going. I'm excited for this.
Would love to have collaboration with you in the years to come. There's a lot more than just implants. We have DMDs, PhDs, MDs, down the list it goes, and all kinds of specialists, all teaching about different aspects. It's not just the implants; it's also the medical emergencies and extraction techniques, and I mean just about every major topic and in between. We've tried to cover it with this particular event. And now it's being called G100 because we've gathered 50 of these top speakers and 50 organizations that are actually participating as industry partners, and we'll have some representation at this event. And hopefully there will be a second and third, and we can continue providing this toolbox for our colleagues, because Dr. Gordon, you and I know that we have a huge problem. It's an epidemic. It's affecting at least 2 billion people on this planet. There's not enough oral surgeons by far and periodontists to attend to these patients. There's got to be better practical solutions. Yes, some companies are selling implants for $500. Yes, in the U.S. market, where we have roughly 40% of the world's healthcare market here, that's plausible. But these guys in all these other countries are not able to get this treatment because we don't have practical solutions. And that's what I would like to motivate my colleagues, especially the younger ones, to innovate and motivate, to create practical solutions. And that's something that I'd like to cover, for example, implant designs and the materials. But naturally, there's a lot of there's more work for us And again, recession doesn't apply here for us as much. Yeah, maybe patients don't want to spend as much money during a time of economic hardship. But for us, the demand is so tremendous that if you gain the skill, you're set. You are likely going to be set for life. Is that outweigh the fact of being scared because of these particular groups, interest groups scaring you with lawsuits? No. It's just like anything else. You practice it, you do it, you made a lot of mistakes, Dr. Gordon. So did I over the last 10 years. And we learned from those mistakes. And it's not about getting sued. It's about communicating properly with your patient. They understand that sometimes implants fail. They could fail. But how do you handle it? What do you do? How do you regraft the area? How do you come back to the situation? Those are the things that we would like to pass on, so the apprehension level comes down by some of these GPs.
Yeah, absolutely. It's there's a huge need out there, and part of it is putting the clinical application in place. The other part is getting the business model in place. The other part is, like you said, the communication part. The laboratory part. I mean, there's so many pieces to grasp and understand. It takes a whole bunch of people to explain that, and nobody's got the magic bullet. It takes 50 people doing it 50 different ways to share their topics and pushing the education, the research, the feasibility, like you said, the economics. Getting patients to afford care and understand why they need the care and there's so many things out there available now. It's almost tough to keep up with. So it takes people and organizations to put these things together in a manageable, understanding ways for us and deliver products and solutions that work. So
I wanted to mention something about communication. Even the best of our implantologists sometimes are not particularly really good in the communication process. There's many reasons that these patients also come in, and the sales process is just as important. We might care about 6-degree taper, but these patients, they care about a whole different set of ideas. For example, why do we have patients that don't know about their options? So you have to be able as a GP to present them. Some of these denture patients, they come in, they come in every couple of years to get a denture realigned, and they're already pissed off because of the cost of the realigned. Then they're out of the system. They don't know their options. They come in, they have a sense of relief when all of their teeth are extracted. For years have they been nickeled and dimed, and they've been extracting and root canals and crowns. So they're happy with their full dentures, but they don't know their options. And then some of them are looking at prices online and seeing that an implant is $2,000, and they're like, we have 32 teeth, 28 teeth, and then it's going to cost me a fortune. I can't afford it because they don't know we can put 12 teeth on 4 implants. They have fear of pain, consciousness, there's options for them, and then they self-diagnose. They say, age, I don't have enough bone. I don't know. There's many, you don't have enough bone for a dentist that's taking 2D x-rays, but if you go to an implantologist or somebody that's doing implants, and they can look and they can find options for you, usually options for just most of the patients, if not all. So there's a lot of things that we have to, not only from the clinical perspective, but also from the communications and business perspective. These patients, they care about swimming and skydiving and playing tennis, and their main priorities aren't the same as ours. And so that's something also the specialists and more advanced doctors can pick up at these conferences and meetings, such as the MBA course that you're putting together, which I find to be a robust undertaking. So yes, there is a lot to this whole spectrum, and it's not just placing the implants. There's a whole process. And our colleagues, our senior colleagues, should be helping our junior colleagues and promoting GPs to get involved versus the other scenario. Yeah,
I love the way your mind works. I really think you're spot on with all this. Now, we were talking a little bit before. You actually went back and got your MBA degree after your dental degree. Talk to me about that. How do you feel that has benefited you in your career, and how are you using that in your day-to-day life now?
Well, to start that off, the corporations don't like doctors like us that have business acumen. That doesn't serve them. In dental school, we don't learn much in business. The business acumen part is gone. They're teaching us about things that are ideal and wonderful, which never actually happens that way in the real world. So when you come out, you could be the best dentist in the world and have the right intentions for your patients, but at the same time have a poor chairside manner, or not even be able to close a patient because you're talking to them about the wrong things, about their priorities they don't care about. So I thought, it might be a good idea to go back to school and pick up an MBA, something that I didn't learn in dental school, and apply that in the business world and see how I can help my patients and my colleagues. And that's what I did. I was traveling to these offices at the same time at night and weekends. I would take a course that I could actually fulfill those requirements. And it took a little while. It took a little close to 3 years to get it. But in 2016, I finished it, and it's been and then we started this global summit. And all of these ideas come from papers and things that I wrote in MBA school. My MBA was mostly about the dental business. I would write everything about clinical settings and homework and this, and analyze things. And so that out of that came a lot of these ideas with this implant. I have now over 10 designs that we're working on, and for pertaining implants, universal abutments, all kinds of stuff. But an MBA, I would really recommend that to my colleagues, because there's business is business at the end of the day in terms of how the operation goes, and your overhead and your profit and loss and this and that. But an MBA will truly get you into the mindset where you need to know where to invest, where to cut, how to communicate the value proposition to your patients. Those things I learned certainly in an MBA, where I didn't learn that in dental school. Always a good one. I would go further as to call out the dental schools to increase their courses pertaining business versus a chunk of stuff that we never use or never need, that is being essentially mandated in the dental schools.
Yeah, absolutely right. I think to be successful in dentistry nowadays, in particular, you have to have some business mind, and you need to pick that up somewhere from somebody who's really got it together. Now, I'm sure that helped you come up with the ideas and the ability to for the Global Implantology Summit. Do you feel that you just opened up a practice about a year ago, you said? Has that been a tremendous value for that and how did that come to be?
Yeah, the practice, I want to do something different. Actually, I don't particularly work there full time. I'm there about 2-3 days a week, where I'm doing my full arch cases and my implants and my full mouth rehabs. But comfortably, I'm doing what multiple specialists do. I refer from time to time when things get a little complex, even for me. But at the end of the day, that has enabled me, those 2-3 days has enabled me to fund all of these activities with this global summit and all of these things that I'm doing with the implants and designing and staying up till the morning hours of 2-3 o'clock drawing stuff. It's exciting. But full time, I don't do that anymore. But we were in a positive very quickly because I wanted to create something different. I went around and I was in over 300 offices doing surgery and clinical consulting and this and that, all over California, Illinois. I was in Colorado for a little bit. And what I've learned is that our profession is the moral fiber is completely being diminished by these corporations coming in like it's their own home. They're guests in our profession. They come in as management groups, force doctors to work harder, faster. The quality of care is going down. Dentistry is being turned into a marketing function. And listening to complaints from the patients that they go to the dentist and they don't see the same doctor because the corporations have a revolving door for these doctors is another disconcerting fact. When I was in Illinois, it was a dentist and it was a patient, and the patient seen the same dentist for 20, 30 years. And so I didn't want to do that anymore. I don't want a 5-chair operation. I set up a 2-chair operation. I spent a lot of time with my patients. At least an hour and a half, 2 hours for a new patient, just talking to them and getting to know them and looking at models and explaining to them what a snap-on option is and what a fixed option is, and turning them into friends. I got like 50 5-star Yelp reviews from just doing that, spending time with these people. That's what they want. They want you to care for them. They don't want you to look at them as an object of financial gain and how fast you can flip them and put a crown in their mouth and then get them out the door. They want to feel like they need that crown. They want to see that photo. They want to see the x-ray. They want to talk to you. What are my alternative options? So a whole different approach to dentistry. And I'm doing, guarantee you, better than these corporations, creating Walmart-style mills and five, six chair operations, having a doctor run around, jumping around and working these patients through as if they're some sort of a cow herd. So we don't do that at Desert Dream Dentistry. I'm perfectly fine with 2 chairs, taking my time with my patients, doing quality of work, and reaping the benefits of it. So a different concept, a spa-like setting. I've put some fountains and plants and some headsets, and we're putting a massager now in the chairs and creating them. They're already afraid of us. Most people are. Out of your 10 patients, maybe 1 or 2 will like the dentist or love to go to the dentist. So you got to create a very serene environment with meticulous, personalized attention. And if you start getting rid of some things that affect your overhead, like if you can't afford accepting certain government, Medicare, Medicaid, all that stuff, and you want to do that kind of a dentistry, you can, and you don't have to run around between 5 chairs, and you don't have to do unethical stuff to get around standard procedures and corners and all the stuff that's being done. But we all know what's going on. All of us know what's going on in these scenarios and how we could do better. The only thing is the financial situation that's being awarded to these doctors that attracts them out of dental school with $400,000 or $500,000 worth of debt. I would tell them you're better off connecting with your senior colleagues and learning from them and their mistakes in a short amount of time by associating with them for a year or 2 and then going on your own, versus being enticed by these type of operations that are eroding the moral fiber away in our profession.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It's patients are willing to spend for what they want, and they're going to seek people out who can provide quality care. These patients that are looking for implants, they're not looking for treat them and street them type of clinics, and they're willing to pay for what they get. I think a lot of them understand that. So I love your approach to that. I think it's fantastic. I agree with all your philosophy on how you're setting that up, and looking forward to hearing your thoughts about that at the MBA conference I'm hosting here in a couple weeks and having you out there. So I'm really excited about that. And then I'm hoping that's going to kind of be the direction the Global Implantology Summit is. Taking people from all angles of implantology and showing you how to teach and learn about every aspect, and then evolving into what it is that each practitioner wants to do. Now, I know you've got some big name speakers coming into your event. You've got yourself as a keynote speaker, Dr. Jerry Niznik and Dr. Arun Garg. What are the highlights that people are going to learn about at the symposium from the keynotes and others? What do you think are going to be what's your elevator speech for why people should come to the event? I know you've got some amazing lineups and some amazing people coming. What's your elevator pitch?
You're going to hear from the old guys and the new guys, and you're going to hear the history and the evolution of this entire industry from the people that were there at the beginning of when Brennemark started this out of Sweden, and the people that have invented and reinvented the profession. I'm personally actually not going to address a keynote. I'm going to be acting as a host. We have so many speakers that we weren't able to even accommodate, and they're wanting to join us in 2019 as a consequence. But you will get a very broad spectrum. The benefits for any colleague, and I would like to extend a 50% discount for all of our younger colleagues that have cost prohibitive issues to come and actually pick up 24 CE. That is mostly half of your license requirements for 2-3 years, depending on what state you're coming from. In ADA, SERP, you can take workshops. Just come out. If you just have the slightest interest in surgery, I highly recommend that you come out and you get the full picture and you decide for yourself what the next steps are in your clinical practice and your endeavors.
Excellent. So you're going to offer the Dental Implant Practices Group a 50% discount off registration. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. Now, how would somebody register for the event if they say, hey, you know what, I love implants, or I want to learn more about implants. I think this is going to be the who's of implantology as far as any event that I've ever seen. So I strongly recommend people sign up and go. How do people sign up for this? Is it just on the website gi-summit.com, and then they can go on there and register? Is that the easiest way?
So to get to the direct registration link is gi-summit.com/register. And if they use the code CDA50 at the time of registration, that takes off a half of their registration, which will make it very affordable. And there are also other options if they want to get into a PRF or an extraction or any kind of workshop that's going on. They can register for those as well. And we will also take written registrations at your conference when we present in a few days as it's coming up. So multiple ways to get registered and attend and pick up some CE, meet some good people. Take some photos, have some social time with everyone, and actually shake hands with these people. Ask them your questions; they're the experts, and then find out for yourself.
Yeah, I've always found that the best way that I've learned and integrated things into my office was to get out of the books and get out of the online lectures. Was to go to a meeting, listen to the guys who maybe invented the topic or who are teaching the courses. Go up, like you said, shake their hands, reach out to them, and then learn from them directly. And then if I'm in a bind or if I'm in a pinch, maybe call them and say, hey, I was at a lecture of yours a year ago. I need to do this better. How can you help me? And most of these guys are willing to help you if you just ask and if you just reach out to them. And I think events like this are where I've benefited the most, whether it's either through the colleagues that I've met in the lecture hall, whether it's maybe I was turned on to a new product that I didn't know about, and or getting the direct information from these high-level instructors that you're not going to get off anywhere else. You're not going to get this off YouTube or anything. Dental Town. You're not going to get the most current up-to-date lectures anywhere else other than these major symposiums. So I would strongly encourage people to do that, and I think it's very generous for you to share a discount with the group. I mean, there's and who doesn't love going to LA, right? I mean, especially in November. I mean, it's that's about as good a place as there is to have an event, in my opinion.
Yeah, so you're gonna have LAX. They can fly right into LAX. You're at Universal Studios next to Hollywood and the Walk of Fame. Especially our colleagues from the Midwest or the East Coast that want to get away a little bit and come to sunny LA. And also foreign doctors that are coming in will be able to travel and see Southern California. The venue is great. Having our colleagues there, great. These 50 speakers having agreed to come, some of whom are 2 years booked out with lectures, is a miracle. Would love to make this happen, and would love to have our colleagues there to see if we can tackle on a big problem in society.
Absolutely. Now, anything else that you're working on you want to share with our audience? Anything we didn't cover about the symposium? I know you're going to be at the MBA event in a couple weeks and can answer questions for people personally there. But anything else we didn't touch on with either your practice or the Implantology Summit or anything else that you're doing nowadays that you'd like to share with people?
Well, the Extraction Academy was something we started when I did a podcast with Dr. Hart Fran, and to how to create a bridge for a lot of the doctors that want to go into implantology to also learn advanced extraction techniques. I'm working on that. Got some designs coming out and an abutment that I'm working on as well. So life is pretty much surrounded with in implantology. But the good thing is, if you love what you're doing, it's not like working. It's actually fun. So I'm involved in traveling a lot, lecturing now a lot. Lots of activity, and I'd like to see more of our colleagues doing similar things to cater to the ones that we need to cater to.
Excellent. I love everything that you're doing. I mean, I think you're an inspiration to a lot of people. You're doing a lot of the stuff that I wish I could do, and I'm doing on my scale. But I love people that have a passion for implant dentistry and a creative mind, and have the courage to get out there and do things like you're doing. It's just, nothing but good things are going to happen for, yourself and the people that you're surrounding with, and because you're giving back to the profession and the people that love it, and that's always going to serve you well. Really look forward to this event you're having. Look forward to having you at my event in a couple weeks. I'm going to provide the links to all of the registration and the discount and all the things coming up that Dr. Shah is sharing with us and we've talked about here. So there's lots of opportunities to catch up and follow in your footsteps and take on this journey of implantology together. And I'm glad to be on this similar path with you, and look forward to seeing you here in a couple weeks.
Looking forward to having you and our colleagues hopefully attend. And I think the Dental Implant MBA conference has a huge prospect in the years to come, and I would like to continue collaborating with you. Thank you so much, Dr. Gordon.